Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this Sunday. We begin with that fallout from the rebellion against Russian President Vladimir Putin and his military officials. Tonight, the whereabouts of Putin's former ally, Yevgeny Prigozhin, are unknown. Kremlin officials say he is headed to Belarus and will not face any consequences for publicly criticizing Putin's war strategy. Prigozhin blames Putin for a missile strike on his own mercenary soldiers in Ukraine. As a result, the 62-year-old advanced his men in an armed revolt towards Moscow, making it to within 150 miles of the capital before backing down. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had this message for Putin, claiming the man from the Kremlin is, quote, very afraid and probably hiding somewhere. On social media, Zelensky touted a positive and inspiring conversation today with President Biden, adding that, quote, the world must keep pressure on Putin. CBS's Ian Lee starts us off tonight from Dnipro. Ian?
Good evening, Jerika. The events in Russia played out like a movie. It had a whole cast of characters and an ending many didn't anticipate. Residents cheered Wagner fighters as they left the Russian city of Rostov. From the hero's farewell, it'd be hard to tell the mercenaries failed in their mutiny. The group's leader, Yevgeny Prigozhin, smiled and posed for selfies on his way out. Some greeted the returning Russian authorities less warmly, hurling insults. For hours, the world watched Wagner forces march toward Moscow. Social media tracked every update of their advance. Russian authorities locked down the capital. And with the Kremlin's focus elsewhere, Ukraine seized the opportunity, launching major assaults along the front. Troops cleared Russian trenches near Bakhmut, while Ukrainian soldiers rained down artillery on their positions. We're firing shells all the time because our guys are trying to get through the Russian defenses, he says. It was the war in Ukraine that sparked the rebellion in Russia. Prigozhin accused the Russian military of killing his men with a missile strike, a claim Russian defense officials denied. His men quickly seized Rostov, home of Russia's southern military headquarters, before advancing toward Moscow. A furious President Vladimir Putin went on state TV to call Prigozhin a traitor. But with Wagner troops knocking on Moscow's gates, the Kremlin cut a deal. Wagner troops would be pardoned and returned to their bases. Criminal charges against Prigozhin would be dropped, and he'd go into exile in Belarus, whose leader brokered the agreement. Today, evidence of the insurrection evaporated. An uneasy calm settled on Moscow and Rostov. Putin's hold on power survived, battered and bruised. Despite trying to take advantage of the chaos in Russia, Jerika, it's still unclear whether Ukraine successfully advanced the front line.
All right, Ian Lee for us in Dnipro, Ukraine.